Hello, my friends. Welcome. Welcome to Life Expansion. I'm Jason Stephenson, and thank you very much for being here today. And today we have an absolute treat of an interview with the amazing musician, entrepreneur, spiritual leader, Loot Bryon Smith, and he's truly amazing, and you'll get to see what I'm talking about in a moment. But first of all, I'm just going to give a shout out to all the people that are joining live, and to those of you that are not live, it's all good, and I shout out and send love to you as well. But I can just see the chat going crazy here, and I'd like to say hello to Madeline, to Barbara, hello Tanya and Adele, Dreamweaver, Bonnie, Livy, lovely to see you, Tracy, Brianna, Quiet Meditations, great to see you too. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. It's always a pleasure to meet you guys and to be here. And if you guys can give me the thumbs up if you can hear me okay, that would be great before I go on any further. No worries, Madeline. It's great to have you. Hi, Dylan. Welcome. Hello, April. And Brianna's watching from Maine. Great. Awesome to have you. So excited. Let's get moving. So, of course, just in a moment, I'm going to talk about Japan, and we're going to be talking with the amazing Loot. And also, I might add, I'm going to be sharing one of Loot's songs, one of my favorites of Loot's songs. And he wrote this one for his son, and I love it very much. When I first heard it, that's the one I've got to play. So we'll get to hear that later at the end of his interview. Right now, I must say that, great, you can hear me. Perfect all round. Awesome. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, April. Great. And Barbara. Lovely. My little off-sider Dharma, I'm just going to put up a photo of him here. But we'll find out more this afternoon. So any prayers are most welcome, because you all know how much that little fella means to me. And I plan to go back to South Australia in this time next week. I'll be on my way back for 3 months, and I'm planning to take that little fella back with me. So hopefully he can get better. You can't hear me now? Just got someone said feeling something is wrong. Let me know if you can hear me, guys, or I could be just talking to myself. Okay. I get it. You probably couldn't hear me whilst I was showing the photo of Dharma, right? My apologies. So I need to recap that. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. My technical issue there. Yeah, so I'll let you know that Dharma is, he's just at the vets at the moment, and he possibly has some fluid on the lungs or some heart issues. So he's getting looked at now as I speak, and I may even get a call from the vets whilst this is live. So I'm, hoping that he's good. And so can you guys please send prayers? Any prayers are most welcome. Okay, so we move on. I want to talk to you about Japan. For those of you that might know or might not know, I went to Japan last week. I was invited as to one of the top 100 creators, YouTube creators in the Asia Pacific region, to attend this amazing event in Tokyo. And what a beautiful event it was. And I mean, right from the moment that YouTube picked me up, seriously, in a beautiful, it was like a Mercedes car. It was the most flash car I've ever seen in my life. It was amazing. Here they picked me up. Nothing went wrong the whole time. I'll talk about something that did go wrong that was my fault, but YouTube and Google just treated us with so much respect and love, and with showering us with presents on a daily basis, and as much food and drink constantly as we wanted. But here's the main thing about this. The most beautiful thing about that conference was meeting the other creators. And I'm sure that I've now got some lifelong friends. I've struck up some friendships with some of the creators, and I think there's a few that stand out for me. That one that stood out for me was actually another Australian, and he's up north, and I'm going to give you his name because you can check out his channel. He's a singer, and he sings spiritually based songs, consciousness based songs, and you'll get to hear that. His name's Jacob Lee. I'm going to type his name in here. Check out his channel, check out his voice, and the production of his film clips are absolutely amazing. Check him out. He's another inspiring person who you must watch. Now, speaking of inspiring people, before I go on to that, I do want to talk about what happened in Japan right at the very end. Some of you know this because I think I put it on Facebook. I kept my passport so safe. I kept it in a safe whilst I was at the hotel, and my keys safe in the safe, okay? The problem was that because I never put anything in the safe in hotels, I normally leave it in my bag. I got on the bus, the shuttle bus to go back to the airport, and when I got just to the airport, I was speaking to a friend on some sort of chat, and I couldn't find my car keys, and I thought, that's strange. I'll need my car keys when I get back to Sydney to come back to Wollongong. Started to get a little bit panicking. I'm thinking, okay, well, if we lose them, what next? Well, I get someone to get the car towed out of the car park, and we can work it out. Things can be worked out. And then it dawned on me. Not only was I missing the car keys, but my passport was still in the safe. And here I was. Luckily I had 3 hours before the plane flew out, but it sent me into that was testing my anxiety levels and my deep breathing. And I'll just put the chat here in case I'm missing something there. And so I quickly rang up the hotel, and I had to ring them via the international thing because I still had my old SIM card in. So I'm ringing them from Japan to Australia back to Japan. Then they had to call me from Australia to Japan with the international code. The beautiful people at the hotel, the Andaz Hotel, got it to me within the next hour. And I was so relieved. So there was no major problems there. I could fly out. But oh my, that tested me. That was a test. Japan would not let me go, Dreamworks. I was deep breathing, guys. I can tell you, I was deep breathing. Oh man, yeah, it was crazy. But pretty, we talk about being mindfulness. Yeah, Tanya says how to not to do mindfulness. Exactly, Tanya. I was going to say there's a little bit of mindlessness there. But maybe a bit more than little. It was mindlessness. Beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, moving right along. Japan was wonderful. The Tokyo, the streets were so clean. Not one tiny bit of rubbish. Like I'm talking, when I step outside here in my local town or even going to Sydney, you're going to see bits of rubbish around, and whether it be leaves or paper or a cigarette butt or something. Not one piece of rubbish on the entire streets. And I will tell you, Tokyo's a huge city. And what stood out for me was the traffic was so ordered. And there was no aggressiveness. As Australia has this, we're in more of a rush here. Like in Sydney, we're in this crazy rush, and there's a lot of aggressive drivers. Like, everyone's bipping the horn, frustrated, giving each other the bird. It's really, you see the difference. And I just stood there and was watching the traffic and was really amazed at the order and at the pace. It was quite enlightening to witness that. We got to see went to a robot cafe, robot restaurant, which was an amazing place of robots and a stage show, and where everything was small and compact, and so we had to sit in these tiny seats next to each other with a little table and chairs, and so we can put our food and drink. And I'm telling you, it was like I was sitting like this, and because everyone's just sitting close together and feet tucked under. But boy, oh boy, was that amazing too. Unfortunately, I wanted to go on the bullet train. I just didn't have the time this time. So that will happen another time. That's okay. I don't feel so bad about it. But I will say that Japan was very expensive. It was very expensive. Luckily, YouTube paid for the 3 or 4 days of the actual conference, but the days outside of that, I had to pay. And I'm talking, I got a breakfast, and the breakfast was 80 Australian dollars, which is probably about the equivalent to 50. Is probably equivalent to 50 US dollars. It's a lot of money. Certainly a lot for me anyway, but well worth it. What an experience. What an experience. Yeah, Devea says lots for Australia to learn. And Dylan says they're living a life of Zen. Yeah. I didn't try a steak there, Barbara, but I have heard it's very expensive. The steak, yeah, very, very expensive. I know for even like a hamburger, and the reason why I ordered a hamburger was because I couldn't understand the menus, so I could only pick out what I knew. So I got this hamburger anyway, and I think it was some potato wedges or something. I mean, that was $16. It was pricey, but overall beautiful. And to meet some of the amazing YouTubers, huge. Some of these guys are like stars in their country, like they're like very famous. In fact, some of them are so famous that we weren't allowed to give out the hotel name. We had to keep, it was quite secure, like a lot of security, because if they knew of these people that were attending the conference, they would swamp the hotel. One guy had 19 million subscribers, 19 million, and was known throughout his country. So of course, they kept it very quiet. Madeline, yes, I did get sushi. I got sushi a few times actually. I'm a fan of sushi. I like sushi. Yeah, I got that a few times. So let's move over across to Loot now. I did this interview quite maybe a few months back now, whilst I was in South Australia, and I love this dear man. He says that I inspired him, but he inspires me, and his music, I think he's only just beginning to reach new levels and new heights. And yeah, I think it's a matter of time before this guy just where people know him. Why? Because he does like rap music, but it's inspirational rap music. It's very, very inspiring. He's at another level of consciousness. And so we talked to Loot about his early beginnings, and we've got some things in common, Loot and I. I know that you're going to like this. This interview goes for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and then I'll switch back and I'll be there to chat with you guys whilst Loot is on. But I'll come back at the end of it and we can have a bit of a chat before I go. So, without further ado, let's cross to Loot. And now I know when I started this interview, I've cut a little bit at the beginning, so you'll see that Loot's writing at the beginning. Don't panic about that. He's not ignoring me or anything. This was just cut into it, and I wanted to pick it up from where I said hello to everyone. So without further ado, crossing over to Loot, and please enjoy, and we'll get to talk to you on the chat. Thanks, guys. And if you can't hear anything on the interview, just give me a yell out, but I think it's all good. Loot Bryon Smith, welcome to Life Expansion, and thank you very much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Like I was telling you earlier, it's an honor and a privilege to be sitting here talking to you. You don't know how much of an impression that you've made on my life and my family's lives, because and the reason why I say my family is because what I'm learning from you and the energy you've given me, I'm spreading it out to my family. And whether I mention your name or not, a lot of the elements have stimulated from you. In my earliest journey of trying to find some inner peace and some inner strength and self-empowerment, I don't want to even say stumbled, but the universe prompted me to come across your material, and I was mesmerized by it, to be honest with you, and just to listen to it, and then to listen to a voice that didn't sound like my own, the accent and everything, it really drew me in. And then just to hear the things that you were saying, it just really resonated with me. And then from there, it inspired me to do what I still am doing today.
Wow, that's great. I mean, that's just great to know that, that I'm just a part of your journey as well. I mean, I'm very, very happy to hear that, Loot. Hey, Loot, can I ask you a question? How did your name come about? Is Loot is it your name, birth name, or is it?
No, I've been asked that question on a few different occasions, but my real name is actually Bryon. I'm not trying to hide anything. I used to, as a kid, I don't want to say a kid, but as a youngster, probably in my teens, I acquired that name because a lot of people have misinterpreted and think, oh, okay, you're putting the emphasis on money and this and that. No, it wasn't that. It was friends gave that to me, and it is affiliated with money, but not in the way that some might think.
Sure.
It was in a way that they always, friends of mine, friends and family always, they would always witness me doing some type of work or doing something to earn money on my own, being really creative, and they started calling me that, like, Loot, there he is again, going out there. I get my own car washing business or yard service. I did that on my own. Go walk dogs, brush, take care of wash dogs, and I would just go door to door, and they would say, he stayed busy. So that name kind of stuck with me. They start calling me Luke because they said, oh, he's busy. There he is again, Mr. The little entrepreneur,
I was gonna say entrepreneur. That's awesome, man. That's so good. I like that.
Yeah. So I was just, other kids are out there doing their thing and getting in whatever trouble or whatever they were doing. I was trying to figure out ways in which I could honestly earn an honest buck, and I figured, hey, I go render some services here, I got a lot of people turned it down, but I met a lot of wonderful people that, I was able to, earn money on my own, even before it was a legal age to even work here in the U.S. I was doing my own.
But, Loot, we have that in common. I remember as a child, I would take my dad made me up an old cart, and it was like a wagon wheel cart with a covering on it, and we had all these old books that were given to us. And so Dad said, go out and sell some books, and so I loved it. I packed up this little cart and wheeled it around the streets selling these books, so we have this in common here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I can totally feel that right there. It's like, I'm sure it made you feel so good just to do something on your own that just felt like that it was just from your own, self, hey, I'm going out here and doing this. I'm not doing this for anyone else,
I loved it. And I remember even though back then it might have been a few pennies or 5 cents or 10 cents. And it was so good just to have created that yourself,
yes, yes. The amount of money at that time really didn't matter. It's just, yeah, I felt the same way. Like I would get $1 or, a couple of dollars for washing someone's car. That couple of dollars meant a lot to me. And it made me, just the feeling it gave me was better than anything else. Because I
Yeah.
came up with this idea myself, or I was inspired to come up with this idea. And
Yes.
here I did something and I got paid for doing something on my own without being told, without someone. I did it on my own and I took pride in doing it.
And isn't this interesting how this has then really continued then throughout your entire life? Creating,
Yes,
creating, doing what you love, and the money comes, but it's you're still doing what you love, and you're just allowing it to take care of itself, the
itself.
abundance and the finances.
And I never thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right. It's that whatever was inside of me then, it's still there now. It's taking different different paths, but nonetheless, it's still there for me to create and to render services and to do something that comes just from authentically, that comes from me
Yeah, yeah.
and you as well.
Man, I have to pinch myself every day, and I want to talk about gratitude a little bit later on here. I know that we worked together a couple of years ago now on the project called Change.
Change, yes.
Yeah, and I mean
That's
that's 2 years now. Lute, what's been happening in your life over the past 2 years? How has life changed for you since then?
I'll be honest with you, just things that happen, like I was talking to you about earlier, a lot of things that I don't want to use just the word things, but just situations that happen in daily life. Um, I can i can see it clearer now and know that things aren't just happening coincidentally. And I'm not saying I have it all the answers or I have it all figured out, because life is always going to be a learning process, and when we stop learning, then we don't live anymore. But I feel a lot more at peace about what goes on, no matter if I perceive it as something good or bad, because I know that there's a reason behind everything now.
Mm,
And it's just, I'm not panicking anymore about everything that occurs in life.
mm,
I realize that a lot of things have to do with what the decisions I'm making, the feeling I'm putting out there, the energy I'm putting out there. But nonetheless, um, life is blessings and lessons. So I look at life has changed. It flows a lot smoother now.
blessings
And
and lessons.
lessons.
I
And
like
it flows
that.
smoother for me now. And I believe because we're our own enemy a lot of the times. The way we perceive things, the way we look at things, we're our own enemy. And if we just be still and listen to Jason Stevenson's meditation, no, really, that's the time to be still and just really just be still and stop thinking about it. Before in life, I would think about everything that happened. It was racing through my mind constantly. Now I'm able to take the time and be still when this thing seems to just flow a lot better. I'm not saying perfectly, but a lot better.
Sure,
And
sure.
and that is a true statement, to sit back and just
Mm,
listen to your meditations. That is a big part of it. Just meditating. It's just relax, let your mind clear. It
mm,
doesn't always have to think about the good or the bad, just nothing.
mm.
Just let thoughts just pass and just be still, you know.
Isn't it amazing just a couple of moments of whether you listen to a meditation or whether you just be still and
Yes,
just be there with the breathing, how that can transform not only the mind but our entire body can just begin to just drop into place. And
yes,
Lute, sometimes I've got to remind myself of that, believe it or not. Well, of course, I'm human, and I'll catch myself, if I'm frantically busy with things going on here at the workstation. It's like, hold on a moment. What do you teach? Take a breath,
exactly.
take a breath and stop. This is not working this way. So let's just stop. And it's a beautiful thing to remind myself, as well.
And that's what I was telling you earlier. I
Mm,
was sharing with you earlier. I've been experiencing a little bit of adversity in regards to some family issues. And, you know, my wife had to tell me, Luke, what are you teaching in your songs? What are you inspiring other people to do? Is not to panic and focus on some outcome that hasn't even happened yet, to especially some unfavorable outcome. Focus on what what you want to happen, and focus on good thoughts. But
Mm.
like you said, we're human, and a lot of times, things that are unknown are scary to us, so we tend to magnify that undesired ending versus saying, you know what, no matter this worrying, this over analyzing is not going to make anything better. It's not going to change it at
That's
all.
the key. That's the key. It's not going to make anything better. It's actually going to
Better.
make things worse.
It's going to make it worse. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I heard you once say our diet is not just what we eat, but what we watch, what we listen to, the people that we hang around. And I know that in your song, Transformational Butterfly, you say, I used to be a caterpillar crawling along. Now I
Probably.
fly. I'm just wondering, how were when you were in those times, all those, and I know you're going through even a tough time now,
Yes.
but the really tough times of crawling along and finding that there's no end, and you're just feeling totally stuck. How do you get yourself out of those times, or how do you keep yourself out of those times?
Like I said before, I have to just basically, me is self-talk. And like I said, I go back to listening to like your meditations, and
Mm.
just knowing that there's a power greater than me, that I'm greater than, we're all greater than what we really think, that we really do have a power to change things, and get out of that slump of doubt, to know that, wait a minute, you're a powerful being connected to the universe, so you can cause things to happen, to move, to
Mm.
shift, to change based on how you feel and how you talk, and everything. So I do that. I, like I said, meditate, prayer, and just positive self-talk, and
Yeah,
just trying to get into my own your mind, subconscious mind, and not letting my mind be my enemy, because oftentimes our own minds can feel like it's our enemy by you know what we feel is our uncontrolled thoughts, like, I can't stop this. But
mm.
even with that, and I don't want to say really embrace it, but knowing that it's going to happen, but knowing it's just a thought when it does happen, and things are going to progress the way that they are, and just know that, always just optimism, just everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to. And if it didn't work out the way I wanted it to at this point, what's the lesson in that for right now?
Mm.
And keep moving forward. And I think
So
everything just,
do you think it's like having this, beginning to have this awareness that's almost separate from this physical being, so you can begin to see yourself and see these thoughts going on and catch yourself out and go, hold on a minute, that's just a, there's a thought, you know?
there's a thought that's just, especially, like I said, during the caterpillar stage, your brain is like a computer, and I've heard other people say, I'm not original with that, but our brains are like a computer. So if it has a certain thing that is programmed in there, just know that that's going to continue to happen until you reprogram it. So just know that, okay, when these scary thoughts come up, okay, that's just that program running again. You can kind of sit outside yourself and say, nope, that's not real, and challenge that. And also, what helps me in life is knowing that life is itself is always a contrast. So no matter how bad things seem, there's always something that's equally as good that has to come too. It has
Mm,
to manifest.
mm,
There's
mm,
always a positive and a negative. So if it seems like, oh, this is super, super bad, then something super, super good has to come out of that somewhere.
mm,
It has to. It's just
mm,
life is a contrast. So just
mm.
know, you know, and me telling myself that, knowing that, hey, I'm going through this for a reason, or whether it's something I've done I didn't catch yet, and whatever. But I just try to dig in a lot of things that happen with me, and or to me, or whatever. I don't really like to say to me. I
No.
think life is happening for me. But
Yes, yes, yes.
but I like to say that whatever happens, let me try to figure out a way to improve myself. I used to in the caterpillar, okay, as a caterpillar,
Mm.
look looked at outside circumstances or looked at what somebody else needed to do to fix themselves. It's their fault. Now I look, no matter, even if I really do see fault in that person of how they could have done it better,
Mhm.
I immediately look to myself. How can I improve as a person? How can I
Mm.
evolve? So
Mm.
now that's how I'm living life. And that's why I feel butterfly. Like I'm looking at how to fly no matter what situation happens.
Yeah, I think that's the trick, isn't it? That we can be, we can be triggered by other things that are going on around us, and we can choose to look and treat that as something external, or we can choose to go, hold on a moment, what's going on inside of me right at this point in time?
At this
Uh,
point.
yeah, this self-reflection.
Yes. Like what is there something that I honestly feel that, or can I find something that I feel that I've drawn this type of thing? And then sometimes, oftentimes, believe it or not, you can find something like, you know what, this person just talked to me like this, and it probably wasn't good. But you know what? A couple of days ago, I probably spoke to another person in a way that I shouldn't have spoke
Mm.
to, or something. I'm not saying it's always that obvious, but I always ask the universe too, if I don't see, and I'm not aware of a thought or some words or actions that I've done that could have drawn some certain unwanted things to me, please reveal it to me.
Mm.
When
Mm.
I talk to the universe, I talk to my own subconscious mind, just, you
Mm.
know, Brian, Loot, what is it that, where's the lesson in this? What can I learn from this? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You write songs. Obviously, you write a lot of positively inspiring songs about happiness, and of course, okay, I get it that you're not always happy, and as you said, you are human. But
Yes.
do you think sometimes that in regards to happiness, it's more about or it's about stripping back the negativity that's happened over the years, so it's stripping it away, or is it something that we have to gain to achieve happiness?
I would say more about the stripping away, and that's it's kind of it's kind of difficult sometimes to explain, but a lot of times to do with happiness, we're so attached to things, and when we don't have this what this other person has, or what we see on TV or hear about on radio or the neighbors, we're attached to certain outcomes. Like right now, I should have this brand new car, or I should be taking trips around the world, or I should that. You have to strip that away and just connect with yourself. And we all, it is a human nature to want abundance in material things, but you can't be connected. I found that you can't be attached to these things and attached to
Sure.
certain outcomes. Go with the flow. Okay, it didn't happen this way. You're still driving this old car. Go with the flow. Be thankful for that car, and be thankful for, start focusing on something else that you're thankful for. Like, hey, I might not be driving this brand new car that I want that my neighbor was able to get or whatever, but I do have a way to get back and forth, and I'm this, and you know what? And I'm thankful for this new shirt I have on. I'm thankful for that. I feel love. People love me. Just, I think when you start living like that, I think things start to flow. You just,
That's right.
it's going with the flow without just allowing life to just take you wherever, but you're going with the flow and making the best out of whatever happens. Like I go this way, so okay, I'm leaning into that turn. Okay, this
Mm.
is what's going on. I'm embracing that, finding all the positive out of this now. Yes.
That sometimes that goal for us is not going to happen the way we want it to, when we want it to. But if we don't give up and if we just go with the flow, we can be brought back to whatever it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. We all have different unique paths, and oftentimes we look at someone else, just like when I was explaining earlier, the way you did your meditations. Well, I tried to do it your way, but then it just, it didn't work right. I didn't get the same feeling when I would play it back to myself. It just wasn't working. And I was like, well, what can I do? And fortunately, something at that particular time came soon after that. It didn't take years for me to figure it out. It took a few months before I figured it out. Sometimes it happens that way, and sometimes it will. Like you said, it'll take years before you come back at another angle to figure out how I can do this, especially if you have a genuine desire to get something done.
Sure.
It might, like you said, it might not happen at that particular moment, but it'll come back around, like you just said.
Yeah. So how did you go from the process of, had you been doing hip hop music prior to this, to these affirmations, the positive stuff? Had you been doing hip hop music beforehand?
Yes, I was doing a more of a mainstream, urban hip hop that I no longer, as I started to grow in my journey, grow and look inward and to mature and get older, of course, that was no longer fulfilling to me to create music that was not uplifting and materialistic, and I'm not, like I said, I've always said before, I'm not putting down anyone's that's their desire to do that type of music. But for me, because we all have, like I said, a unique path, and that was no longer bringing me, it didn't bring me inner peace. And so I stopped and had a gap between that type of music. And then when I started to make the more uplifting self-empowerment music, it was a gap where I just totally stopped doing it. And then like listening to you, for instance, it reignited that fire. Like, I no longer thought about limitations like, well, I'm too old and all that. Wait a minute, you're never too old to inspire people. So, maybe to make young music for the radio stations and for the, that's all trendy. Maybe, yeah, not for that, but
yeah,
you can still use your skills no matter how old you are if you're still able to do it
for sure,
to help people. So I stopped looking at those limitations and and start doing what I know how to do, or what inspires me.
I noticed that you're, I know that you're an avid reader of some fantastic books, and I've Emerson, Tony Robbins, Brendan Burchard, and I noticed even Florence Scovel Shinn, The Game of Life and How to Play It. And I will tell you, that was one of my books that got me started on my entire journey back in my early 20s, The Game of Life and How to Play It. Is there, if you could recommend one book to people at the moment that to inspire or to uplift or to help them to transform, what book would you recommend?
One that has really made an impact on me here recently was The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. That gave me, an understanding more of how our subconscious mind works versus our conscious mind, and how we can purposely, just like how your meditations are designed to do. You listen to them enough, embed themselves into your subconscious mind, so they become a part of your natural state. You don't have to tell yourself something that you really don't believe. You say it enough, you keep doing it with repetition. That's the purpose that you're doing that for, is to get that to go in your subconscious mind. And this book is designed to help you figure out ways to, different ways to help that to happen, to help those words that you say that you might not believe. Like when you tell yourself, I'm rich. Well, you can say that a bunch of times, but deep down inside, are you really believing that you're wealthy? Are you rich? Probably not. Not if your circumstances aren't revealing that. So it's that book is really a powerful book, and I want to read it again.
I'm definitely
Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that. Is that an older book, Loot? Is that
Yeah, it's an older book. It's an older book. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't have
Joseph Murphy. I remember I've heard this guy's name, and I'm thinking, I think that's one of the really old ones. And there's a lot of greatness in those old books. I mean, that's where a lot of the thought of today has stemmed from, of course. It's from these guys. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'd like to, before we leave, I'd just like to say, first of all, where can people reach out to you, Loot? If people want to buy your albums, or if they want to chat with you or get in contact with you, where can they reach out to you?
You can find me on Facebook under Loot Bryon Smith or Enlightened Empowered Evolved, but just look up Loot Bryon Smith, LootBryon. It's spelled Bryon. Some people confuse it with Byron, but that's BY, but mine is Bryon Smith, Loot Bryon Smith. If you type that in Facebook or YouTube, you'll find me, and pretty much. And then as far as my albums go, you can just go on iTunes and type in that same name, Loot Bryon Smith, and my albums will pop up. You can go on iTunes, you can go on Spotify and listen to samples, and you'll find me. So pretty much, I put my name out there in a few of the major social media platforms, where basically you just type my name in it, and you'll be able to get a hold of me.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Loot, for being here today. I really appreciate it, and you're an absolute inspiration. And your new work, I am really loving. I love probably my favorite album is Luminosity. I checked them out the other day, and I checked out, there was a couple of songs that stood out for me, and one I would like to leave with today that really hit me, that is absolutely beautiful. I'm Feeling Like.
Yes.
So did you want to say anything about that song before we play it out?
I'll just give you a brief summary of the song, but it's basically a song that I wrote to my son, my oldest son, in which I've had a pretty, I would say, a rocky relationship with over the years. I was kind of there for him, but then kind of not in the way that I should have been as much as I should have been. I've always financially taken care of him, but at the time, I think, I don't want to blame it strictly on age, that the age that he was conceived, because there's people that are ready to be a father at young ages, but I don't think at that time I was developed and mature enough. So therefore, I neglected a lot of my responsibilities as far as raising him, and it has caused a divide between us, but we still love each other, and we're growing and working on that. And I wrote the song for him because it's the way I really feel. And
this means even more now. I really dig this song, so I'm going to leave everyone with this. So thanks again, brother. Much love to you, Loot, and God bless you, man, because you're doing great work.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it, man. And you keep doing what you're doing. You never know whose life you're impacting. I mean, you've started the whole journey for me, just doing what you're doing, man. And even if there's people out there that even feel like they can't tell you, or can't tell you, or don't have the resource, or whatever it may be, you are making a positive impact on and making a difference for a lot of people.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Do you love me? Do you hate me? No matter what, I still appreciate you greatly. And on your journey, hoping that you make it safely. Although the past that we had was really shaky, I did the best that I could with the mindset that I had at the time. I know you can't forget the way I treated you like I never needed you. And as the years went by, I proceeded to be a sorry example of a father. I know you feeling like, why should I bother? No excuse, but I never had a man to teach me how to be a man. Understand too, that my mother only did what she thought to do, although it cost me all the love I couldn't give to you. Frustration, anger, and resentment, I blame everybody else. Right now I'm feeling like I'm sitting here feeling like I'm just expressing the way that I feel. It's up to me to fix myself, no matter what's true. Just want to tell you from my soul that I love you, although it's hard to express right in front of you. Often my pride keeps me from what I want to do. I know I've changed, and I'm focused on positive, but I still have struggles, my prerogative. To be a work in progress, take steps. I will pour my heart out till there's nothing left. I know you have doubts, but when you were a kid, I never let you go without. I help keep food in your mouth and clothes on your back, no lie, all facts. I know it doesn't take away the pain, but if it helps, I'll take all the blame. It might not ever be the same, but always in my heart a piece of you. Right now I'm feeling like I'm sitting here feeling like I'm just expressing the way that I feel. I just wanted to tell you that I apologize for not being the man, the father that I should have been, and I'm sorry for all the pain I've caused you. And I know the first step to healing is taking responsibility for your actions and putting it out there and talking about it, and that's why I wrote this song for you. I love you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Loot, brother.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Thank everybody for watching, and I appreciate it, man. And we'll be talking soon.
Awesome.
Much love to you, man. Love you.
Much love, man. Hey, guys, what'd you think? Man, oh, I love that. I love that song, and I love that gentleman. Thank you very much, Loot, wherever you are at this point. Thanks so much for that interview. It was an absolute honor to do that with you. And what did you think, guys? What did you think of that? It's really great stuff, and you can check out Loot's work. He's on Spotify, and he's got stuff on YouTube, and you can even purchase his album. So I encourage you to sign up for Loot. I've put his Facebook up there. I think it's in the description below the video. It will come up. If it's not there, I will add it later. So yeah, thanks again, Loot, my brother from another mother. So what I want to do, guys, is when I end off now, yeah, Adele, you're right there. Adele says it's a beautiful gift to his son, and I don't think you can get any more powerful gift than having a song written for you, giving a song to someone. It's just, yeah, it's beautiful. And Tanya, yeah, the words are amazing, even though I'm not a fan of rapping. And I think that's the difference with Loot, is that you don't even have to be a fan of any rapping or hip hop, because you can pump his music up and you can be inspired by what he delivers through his words. Love it. I love it. I've just cranked it up and I'm just really getting into it. Before I go, guys, I want to just give you an update of where I'm at and what's happening in my life. And there's some exciting news I've got coming up, which I've only just recently found out. And you're actually getting this so hot off the press, in fact, that even my staff don't know about it. So if they're watching this, they will hear this. But anyway, what's happening is, okay, so I'll be leaving next Friday for South Australia again. I have a place there, a country office and a home there, and I will be there for the next 3 months. So that happens on Friday. I leave, and hopefully leaving with my little dog Dharma. As I said, he's in the vets at the moment, but I'm sure that everything's going to be okay, and I'm just waiting to hear from the vets to get a call back to make sure he's okay. So that's happening. Next year, I start a dream that I've always wanted to do for many years, for 20 years, and I'm going to explain this to you. I'm beginning a tour of not every country in the world, of course, but major countries, and I start with Australia, and it's starting next year. And I'm giving a tour on a one-day workshop on passion and purpose, something that has inspired me since I was a youngster, and I wrote this demo CD and I called it a demonstration lecture performance. This was when I was, if you can see that, it's called Seize the Day. I've never done this. I've never completed this dream, and this dream is happening beginning 2020. That's me there, and that's demonstration lecture and a song called Found that was on it. But I will be including a couple of songs in this lecture that I will be giving, and coming to other parts of the world later. Right now, I'm early next year I'll be focusing on Australia. From that point on, we're developing it, and we're going to shift it to other places in the world. I won't name countries yet. I've got a few questions here. Barbara, at this stage I'm coming to Brisbane, Barbara, and maybe not the Gold Coast. So just hang on to that thought. So we'll see. Okay, so that's a dream that's happening for me next year. I'm very, very excited about that. On finding your passion and purpose, so we can all do that together. Also, just before that tour, I'm actually going. Another dream's happening for me. Another dream's coming true. I'm going to India on a spiritual retreat to meet spiritual masters, and it's 2 weeks, and I'm going with Jeanette Bray Atwood, the author of a best-selling New York Times bestseller called The Passion Test. I'll be going along with her and 9 other people, and I'm very excited about this because I, of course, will be teaching the passion and purpose, my own workshops, and so just to hear this from Jeanette Bray Atwood, who's amazing, and she's going to be introducing her many spiritual masters that she's interviewed along the way, and so I know that this is going to be something really special and really important for me and for my growth, and ultimately that I can pass on a lot of what I learn onto other people. So very, very excited about that. And as I said, that is hot off the press. That is really only just been decided today. And so, as I said, my staff, I've not even discussed this with my staff. You know before my staff know. I probably have a few of them freaking out. They're like, what's he doing? What's he doing? That's me, man. I just go by the seat of my pants. And so I'll keep you posted on that for sure. And there'll be a lot of meditation on that tour. There'll be a lot of singing on that tour. There will be, and of course, meeting with these very enlightened beings. Some of them are very enlightened beings, and flying to, and yes, USA. Of course, I'm coming to USA with the tour. That is a definite happening. I know there's USA, Canada, and United Kingdom. These are definites, and most likely New Zealand as well. But I can't mention those. I can't say dates as yet, but I can certainly say that Australia is early next year, March, April. Okay, so I will keep you all posted. Don't panic about that. You guys are my number one fans here. You're my number one fans, so you guys will be first to know. Oh yeah, Tony says On the Rise says you'll be appearing on the Rise podcast with Tony Doyle. Don't forget that. Of course, Tony. Of course I will, man. You give me a shout out, brother, and I'm going to be there. I'm doing that. Yeah. So it will be lovely to reach out and to actually physically meet some of you guys after all this time, because I know that I've known a lot of you guys for quite some time, so it's going to be beautiful. It'll be something really special to be able to actually meet you. That's going to be good. Also, one thing I've sort of jumped the gun here. I will be releasing an online course called Empowered Sleep Formula, which is more than a sleep program. It's more than to help people get to sleep. It's to help people empower the mind before sleeping. And this will be, we've worked on this course. I've been doing this course we've worked on it for all year. It's been a lot of work. I've been doing this in the background. It will be released this year, later in the year. I'm getting pushed to get this out, and so it will be happening, guys, very, very soon. Again, I will keep you posted on that as well. Empowered Sleep Formula. It's something that has a lot of my heart in it, a lot of my heart, and I personally believe it's going to be an amazing program. So I will keep you posted on that too. So I just say I send you. Oh, You see this? You see this? Bonnie says, talk about your ring. Well, I just got this today too. I've always loved opal ever since I was a kid. And there's a guy on Facebook in Indonesia that he just sells opal. He creates the rings and everything, and he sells it from his own Facebook page. And I loved this. And now I don't know if you're going to see this, the colors, but look at that. No, they're not diamonds. It's like the, what do you call it, Schwartz crystals. The Schwartz, I don't know how to pronounce it, but they're the little crystals. But that is an opal, my friends. It's Indonesian opal. It's not Australian. But it is so beautiful, and I feel so special to have this. He did an amazing job. Yeah, something I've wanted so long. Trying to hide it. I wasn't trying to hide it. I just don't show it off. That's all. I just love it. It's just something personal for me, and yeah, I'm really happy to have it and grateful to have it. Thank you, thank you guys. So. Again, I just want to say thank you very much to Loot Bryon Smith. Go to his Facebook page. Please check him out. Yeah, sign up, listen to his music. And if you like his music, purchase his album. Because when you purchase an album, you're actually supporting the artist as well, in a great way. And Loot is worthy of support. Very much so. Thank you. Thanks, Bonnie. And Madeline, of course, I love Michael Jackson's music too. I grew up with Michael Jackson's music, and I really do like his work. Always have done. So, yeah. So I send you guys lots of love today. Next Friday, I'm not going to be back here due to I am leaving for South Australia next Friday. And I won't be back till the following week, and I promised to come back. I might not have a guest. I probably won't have a guest that the following week, but that's okay because we can connect. We can connect one-on-one. I know some of you have been asking that, and we'll do a bit of a meditation together as well. Okay? So sending you love, guys, and have a beautiful 2 weeks ahead, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay? God bless. Namaste, and thank you.